this episode of Pimp My Setup, I'm going to be talking about your setups you submitted for tips, tricks, feedback, and much more. So if you're interested in that, then sit back, relax, and interact because the show starts now.
It's time for the original setup show dedicated to providing you with tips, tricks, and feedback to pimp out your setup. Hosted by Matt Philly with new special guests every week. Coming at you live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pimp My Setup, episode number 210, recorded live on March 30th, 2017. My name's Matt Philly. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Philly, and as always, we are joined by producer Tom.
What's up, guys?
How you doing today, T-Fizzle? Good?
Great.
Okay, great. Hey, guys, good news. I think it's 24 Fast Passes for the month of March. Obviously, this is the last episode of this month, but we did better than last month, although January we did do 26. So we're at 71 Fast Passes. We appreciate all the support. If you want to get on the next show, guaranteed, go to pimpmysetup.com/perks. Otherwise, we're booked up to 3:30 something at this point. Who knows? Who cares? We are working on a process that is cleaning house, and we're definitely going to be able to push you guys forward as long as you are active. If you are on episode 235 or anything before that, so from now 210 to 235, you received an email. If you're on those episodes, not anything past 235, and you did not get the email, let me know as soon as possible. But you need to respond. If you don't respond, I'm going to remove you from the queue. It's a pretty simple process. And in addition to that, of course, setupaddicts.com is our Facebook group, swashin.tv/chat. That's the Discord. And that's about it. Everything else you need to know is down below in the description. Without further ado, let's hop into the first set of the day, submitted by Katherine, who's 15. She uses her setup for Netflix, editing videos, and doing schoolwork. Check out our YouTube at Katherine Lee. She literally does videos of her snowboarding. That's like all of it. So I think that's pretty awesome. Definitely go check it out. Now, this setup, I'm just going to kind of throw a spoiler out there. So, if you don't want to hear it, cover your ears. But this is first place. It's pretty obvious. Clean, to the point. Theme's not over the top. It's not thrown into your face. And that's where some points were lost, because I do think theme can be worked on. But everything else, it literally 99998. That's kind of how I saw it. I think usability is pretty good. Yeah, like you might say the microphone's in the way. What do you do there? Well, I would assume the microphone's moved when in use and so on and so forth. But, all right, let's take a point off for that. And then, the laptop being where it is, I don't think it's a problem. I think it makes it so it's on the go. And when she's sitting at her desk, it's perfect. She has some ambient lighting and theme. Again, not over the top crazy. I think it's a really cool shelf. Definitely has some symmetry to it. A lot of equipment up there. That's some mad.
That's some mad dollars.
Mad dollars for a 15-year-old. But I think that right side of the setup definitely needs to be utilized a little bit better. You have this open table, which if you were to build a computer over time would be a perfect spot for it. But it's a lot of empty space, and maybe like a canvas poster or something of like a snowy mountain, or maybe even you going down a mountain you have a photo of, something to that extent would just kind of help fill in that space and make it look really, really nice. But what I like about the setup is just kind of like the simplicity, the color matching. It's a very nice wool color. And a lot of people are saying in the chat that they think the shelf is a little too high. But the actual reasoning behind that is that sort of clear piece right there is actually a whiteboard. So obviously if she was to put the shelf lower, that would be an issue. So my solution would be to move the whiteboard to the right side and then move the shelf down, because having a whiteboard in that spot is kind of pointless. I mean, yes, you can still write on it, but it's like stuff's in the way. You don't get the full use of the whole canvas there. And plus, the positive to having it there is she can see it while she's sitting at the computer, which I would assume that's the idea behind it. So, a lot of people are saying you can get an old snowboard, put it on the wall at an angle. That'd be really sick. I definitely think that's a great idea. If you have any more suggestions, leave them in the comments. But cable management, I think, is pretty slick. It's a great setup. You have anything you want to say about it, too?
No, you hit everything on the head.
I'm trying to go to the next photos. Oh, man. Okay, this is going to be an issue. All right, there we go. Next set of the day is submitted by Lewis, who's 15, and he likes horror movies. Horror. I always have a hard time saying that because I always just want to say horror, but, I can't. So he's also a Razor fanboy, which is Not what you would expect at first glance, because normally Razer fanboys are like, I could get chroma, but I really like the Razer green, even though my setup's all red and black. It's like, what are you doing? But this guy was like, no, I'm not that stupid, even though he does have the green on the keyboard, which, you know, I did dock 37 points off for that, but I don't think it's a big deal. No, but being honest, like the setup, you did a great job following through with the color theme. But here's the thing. Have we ever seen a DX Racer desk before? Like, I know they exist, but have we seen it on Pimp My Setup?
I don't think so.
Because if you go to the next photo, obviously the branding's right there. I'm not a huge fan of these desks. I think, you know, they're not awful, but you could get something a little bit nicer for probably cheaper. So, very interesting though. A lot of people don't even know that they have these desks. So the other thing, you know, he's sticker bombing it. We see it. He's got the Razer logo on the right side of the desk there. I mean, I don't like that, but you know, it is what it is. So I think really the main thing here is he's missing out on a little bit of accessories. So a place to put the headset that's not on his monitor, speakers, things like that. I think themes great. You know, obviously he's got a lot of variety on the walls. He's got stuff all over the place, pop vinyls, and I really think it's cool. Maybe a little shelf or something that you can do, because if you add anything else to it, to the desk, you're gonna have like a lot, and it might become a little overwhelming. So I would definitely figure out a solution for that. But just cable management, things like that. But for the most part, I think you nailed it on the head. Maybe get some LEDs to really add some mood.
We do red LEDs. I feel like that'd be just too much red.
I would get like a white or something. Okay. Just something that kind of like, you know, just.
I just feel like it's a lot of red. Like, I understand you love red and all that, but I feel like it's just overwhelming.
He loves blood, man.
I just wish maybe the walls were a different color, because then I kind of offset it and make
like
it
a gray,
like,
and then like go really hard on the red with everything else.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But you know, I think it's fine. Like, but I'm just not a big fan of red with red.
And I'm there with you. Like, I'm not saying like, man, if I was doing a red and black setup, I'd paint the damn wall red. Yeah. Like, no, I would probably go gray. Maybe, you know, people put in foam tiles.
That's pretty good.
Oh, we got a new subscriber. Some people throw in foam tiles, and they do a lot of stuff like that. So a lot of different possibilities, but I think it's a good setup nonetheless. Next setup, though, submitted by Cameron, who's 13. He's set up for gaming, editing videos, and watching YouTube. He's got a kitty cat on the bottom right corner. Can we just, hello, kitty. You look like my cat, but like 30 times the size. But anyways, take a look at this setup. We don't really have a lot to work with. Just this one photo. The dude is 13, yet he's got Hillary for prison and plus a Trump sign. So I love at 13, he's like, getting into politics.
I love at 13, he has more stuff than both of us combined.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look at this setup. He's got 3 setups in one. Okay, he's got the left side, which is like a little laptop kind of setup, which also has, it's not just a laptop setup, it's quite literally got its own keyboard, mouse, and things like that. So not really understanding why he needs 3, because then he's got his dual monitor setup with this PC popping up right there, which is, you know, that's good, that makes sense. And then he also has his console setup off to the right that has a keyboard and a mouse. So I mean, unless this dude is running servers for like Google or something, I'm not really understanding the full usability aspect of all of this. I mean, the desk is great in the sense that it can house a lot, but I do think he still overdid it. There's no room for anything. The comfort, the usability is not great. Out of sight, out of mind. There's too much shit on the desk. For instance, you have the headphones on the right side in front of the Xbox. So why not just put it on top of the Xbox at that point? You know, you can't.
He's got a helicopter there.
Oh, well, throw the helicopter out. God damn it. But I think just the layout of the room doesn't really make sense to me as well, because you have this right side with the shelf and stuff, and it's like a little corner piece that you can't really walk through. Obviously you can, but I'm saying like it's not comfortable. Why isn't this all the way up against the wall in the corner? And then that way you put the shelf on the opposite side, which it actually matches that laptop desk piece. So it would make a little bit more sense, give you a little bit more room. I don't fully understand what he's going for. But the walls, I think there's a lot more you can do with it. I don't really like. You have bleach. It looks like a printout of bleach.
Clorox,
Yeah, really wonderful. So I would say, although you have stuff all over the place, I think you kind of just hurt yourself with overdoing it. So, I'll look at the scores. Yeah, your usability got butchered. Theme's not that great. Out of sight, out of mind's awful. So it really hurt your score when, honestly, you could have like an 80, 85 setup.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean,
I feel like you got too excited with all the stuff they got. I'm pretty sure some of that stuff has to be hand-me-downs. There's no way that,
I'm sure.
had all this stuff.
Or his parents are like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But I feel like he just got too excited. He's like, oh my God, all this stuff, I'm going to have to use it all.
Yeah.
Where he could definitely just get rid of the right side.
And I don't blame him. I'm the same way. On my time hop today, I had my old setup pop up from 8 years ago, and it was whatever I could get my hands on was in my setup. And, I don't blame him, but you're on the show. That's what we say. Have a good day. Okay. David, 16. We're going to go quick on this one. This one really irritates the hell out of me. All right. He enjoys photography, obviously, and graphic design. Now, he's got an insane Instagram. David_Andresen. Andresen. I probably butchered that. Yeah, it's right there. If you go to his Instagram, you'll see some sick shots. But there's a time and a place for doing filters. And I'm not going to talk shit on Tom, but you were the one that approved this.
Yeah.
Okay, but this was in the beginning of Tom taking over the queue. He didn't really know, and he's gotten more and more strict, which is great. But I felt terrible that he's been waiting this whole time, and whatever. I'm like, whatever. And we asked him, and I actually jumped in the email chain at one point. I was like, we need further back photos. He's like, I'm in a hallway. I'm like, no, you ain't, homie. He says that he can't get further back photos. So guess what? The setup actually got not a great score because there are a lot of problems with it. The cable management's not good. It's okay, but on the desk, I mean, we're seeing cables all over the audio cables and just a bunch of stuff going all over the place. And in addition to that, we're seeing in the undershot a strand of cables going down on the left side, which is fine, but we're not seeing the floor. We're not getting the full photo here. So I love that he's got to watermark them just in case we want to steal in the top. Yeah, in the top right, it literally has. Yeah, you can't. It's on both photos, but it says David's photography on both of them. But not really an effective watermarking process. But the filters you put on it, you make it black and white. You put all this stuff on it so that it kind of confuses us. Obviously that's not your intent, or at least I don't think it is. But it just looks like. And he did close-ups of every little thing. I'm not a huge fan of what he's doing. It would have looked a lot better. This setup would probably have gotten more points if it was a further back, straight on, well-lit pic. And as a photographer, you should have known that. So I'm not a fan of what you did. We see no theme because of your framing. We see nothing. So an attempt to make it look badass ended up backfiring. I'm not a huge fan. Plus, we don't even know what the coloring really is of the walls. The walls could be bright ass pink or some shit. I don't know. I just think there's too much editing here, and it really killed your score. Yeah.
Yep.
Next setup submitted by Mark is 29. He's been on the show a few times, multiple times. He's a huge Lindsey Sterling fan, if you could tell. And yeah, he's made tons of updates to his setup because prior to this, he was on a Mac, and then prior to that, he was in a different part of the room. He never had theme. He never had any of that. And he's finally back, and I think he did a great job. It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot on the wall. For me, there's a little too much because it's also not lined up at all. If you look at the first photo and look specifically above the TV, they're all at different angles and heights, and then even the bigger pieces on each opposite side are not lined up. So I think if all the artwork, which there's a lot of it, and I think it's awesome, if it was all lined up evenly, you had a ruler and everything just to make sure it was right, it'd be perfect. But when you put this much stuff on the wall and you're not going to take the time to do that, you have to do the abstract thing, not put 3 of the same artwork, with the CD or whatever in line. You have to go one here, a bigger piece here, the other smaller one here. You got to make it look like you were trying to be a little artistic. But when you're doing it like this, I think it's just kind of ooh, he didn't really take the time to, even it out. So that would be my one complaint with that. But I think everything else on the actual desk itself is pretty straightforward. I mean, the cable management's not 10 out of 10, obviously coming out of the TV, going into the bottom cable management box. There are ways to make that look a little bit more pretty, but for the most part, you have improved on your cables, which is good. And then also, the speakers are just barely fitting on, but I think you did a fine job with it. I think the monitors itself, though, can go angled in a little bit more, but I wouldn't go crazy about fixing that. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward setup. But what I really think is, God, the chat, the craziest part is that he's left-handed. I mean, we don't see that often at all. The only person I really know that's left-handed is my mom. And
but she uses it right. She uses
for a lot of she does. She is left-handed but uses her right hand for the mouse, because most mice are for right-handed people. Or at least the comfortable way of using it. And then I think it's it's just knowing your previous setups, man. You've made such an improvement, and I think you finally have it at a spot where I would leave it and just kind of little improvements. I wouldn't do anything too drastic.
Definitely, I agree.
So next setup is submitted by Rhys. Now this is another set of photos. These two photos, again, the quality, he's been waiting for a long time, so I'm just gonna let it be. But the second photo kind of shows tin can camera, potato, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's the easy one to fix. He likes Xbox and PC gaming, except unless you're laying on the bed when playing the Xbox, that's not comfortable. You need an actual entertainment setup, not drawers and putting on top of the drawers and calling it a day. So I'm not a huge fan of that. That's pretty obvious. I'm assuming if you get, you're probably aware of that. If you get new furniture, it'll be great. Cool. Work on that. The actual setup itself, very straightforward. I mean, speakers, monitor, maybe improve peripherals, get a mouse pad, things like that. The cable management's not amazing. It's not awful. Obviously, you did try to some extent, but it's easy to hide the power strip. It's easy to do all that with the backboard of the desk, and then all you should see is the one cable that goes down to the subwoofer. Bada bing, bada boom. That should be it. I think that's pretty straightforward, but I think it's an okay setup. The theme's not crazy obvious. It's kind of confusing actually, but I think that's the best way to explain it, right?
Yeah, new furniture
and new camera or a camera
or better lighting.
Next set is submitted by Kai. He's 17. He's set up for gaming productivity. This is the only photo we have, and it's a pretty good photo for us to kind of get a full feel of what he's got. So for me, I think the fixes in this one also are very easy. Now, you don't want to put your PC on the floor. That's fine. It's a small bit Phoenix case. Don't really get the coloring because it doesn't normally you buy a case of that color because your whole setup has that same color flowing through it. But in here, it's kind of an eyesore to me more than anything, but it doesn't really matter at this point. You already did it. So for me, I would say having the PC in that spot isn't ideal. It's too close to the speaker. It makes it look more cramped than it has to be, because where your flight sim sticks and all that are, your PC could go and that'd be it. It would be it wouldn't look like it's not in the right spot. It would kind of look like, oh, that's where it's meant to be, if that makes sense. It would be a lot smarter of you to do that. So I would recommend that, and then you could put the flight sim stuff elsewhere. You could have some sort of storage for it. I'm not a fan of the shelf from this angle. The shelf looks like it's going down like the Titanic back in the early 1900s. So for me, doesn't it? It looks like...
It might just be the angle of the photo.
Yeah, it just looks like it's going down. But, I think... having the microphone like that, we've seen it done before. Okay, if that works, that's fine. But it looks like you do have the little bit of a ledge on the bottom right side of the desk to where you could mount it. I could be wrong. It just looks like it. It might not be enough, right? Maybe it's not enough for the specific.
Yeah, because the amp's underneath it.
Yeah, I don't know, but the wall art, it's a lot of cool random canvas stuff, and just. It's a pretty simple, straightforward room. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it's okay. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I actually like the canvas art and all that. It's very, very different. You don't usually see that kind of stuff.
Very
I just
random.
wish the one wasn't covered by the stuff on the shelf. I feel like the shelf should even be there.
Yeah, it could be somewhere else.
Yeah, you either get rid of the canvas poster or get rid of the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
Anyways, let's go to the next setup submitted by Paul. Paul is 15 and likes to play games and make videos. His YouTube is Plain Note SK. Now, again, this is another setup that's got a lot of cool posters, a lot of cool theme. A few of them, and this is me just being a dick, they don't line up perfectly, and it triggers me. Like that Fallout one, they're all pretty close, but I'd say the Fallout one is the one that's kind of right? right? But I love what you're going for. Very, very, very interesting. But the main problem that we have here is your cable management. So no attempt. Terrible score. Behind the computer you tried, but why even put that sort of attempt if you're just going to not care about every other cable known to man? And you didn't even do a good job with your attempt. So fix that. If you fix that, that would have put so many more points to your setup. Definitely recommend figuring that out. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay, a few things here and there that can go and will overall help. Having the headphone cable, you could have easily unplugged it for the photo, but whatever. I digress. I just feel like super easy fixes here. A lot of laziness went into it. A lot of people are saying frame all the posters on the wall. I don't think you have to, but if you did, it would help. But having that many of them, it may look a little weird, but that's just
I think
me.
it looks fine if you have that many. But maybe if you condense down to your favorite posters, then you can frame them.
Maybe the one poster that's like super wrinkled, I would probably get rid of.
WWE.
Yeah. But other than that, I think it's fine as long as they're all lined up. But if you just have so many poster frames on the wall, it's definitely going to look a little bit overkill. You'd have to condense like one on, instead of having two on the right side, you'd have one, so on and so forth. But I think it's a cool setup. It's straight to the point. Usability is pretty good. I mean, you sit there, it works okay. Speakers, of course, something I always recommend. But hey, I mean, it's not awful, but it's not terrible.
It seems messy, but I think it's just the cables. I feel like the cables weren't as messy. The setup would look much cleaner.
Which is exactly why I said, clean that up. You'll get so many more points. But that brutally murdered your score. Anyways, next setup is submitted by Jani. He's 17. This was his setup when he was on episode 97. And instead of, just improving his setup, he decided to take worse photos. So here we go. It's just they're darker. And there was never a far back straight on pic that was well lit, so I could really get a flow. So we really only have these two photos that were usable, which, I mean, they're not terrible, but it is really dark. And I kind of wanted to see what was going on the left side there. I wanted to see what was going on the right side. I just wanted to get a far back photo because a lot of this is unanswered. So whatever. Theme. He said that he added more themes, something I didn't really give him good points for before, but I didn't give him a terrible score. The last one he had 2 Star Wars posters, which I thought was nice. Now I said, do a little bit more. So he's got the same Star Wars thing above, and then he added the bat from The Walking Dead, and that's it. I mean,
he's got cards.
He's got okay. I mean, it's not like you just kind of went for it. I feel like I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's... I don't think it's... They're two different setups. What?
It's definitely better.
Really?
He's got a better PC, better speakers.
Yeah, but those are...
Doesn't have speakers.
But he got rid of the speakers, which I think he said that those sounded great. And I said, why not just plastic dip to plastic?
Yeah.
And it would have been great. But for me, I almost think that the first photo was like the perfect era. Yeah, obviously the PC is something I had talked about. How do you fix that? I mean, the cable management was pretty good. I liked the desk. I like the little shelf he had and everything. But now it's just kind of like he took a lot away, and it was already kind of an empty setup. So it works. Cool. You got the dock. Cool. Again, the monitor cable's easy to fix. Yeah, you have a PC now. It's good. I like both. I do. But I think the cable management looks a little bit more not as thought out. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know.
It's a hard setup to judge, actually. Because you look back at their old photo and is it that much better? I mean, it definitely has a couple points higher, I think, because he did give a higher score, right?
I don't know. I have to check. Okay. Honestly, it may have gotten a lower score because I don't know. A lot of people are saying they like the older better, and I agree. Speakers, he's missing out now on accessories. Think about that. His headphones are on the bottom right side, which I can just barely see in the photo. So again, the photos hurt him. The lighting hurt him. I like a little bit of each. I think you could find a happy medium, and I don't think it means, oh, you're terrible now. You have no way of coming back from this. I just think, I don't know. I like the simplicity and the color scheme and all that of the new one, but I think the previous one was a better setup. Obviously, minus the computer and all that stupid shit. But let's go to the next setup submitted by Pato. Pothole. Ah, damn it, I hit a pothole. He's 15. You set it for long periods of gaming, anywhere from 9 to 14 hours a day when he doesn't have school. He doesn't need speakers. He wants me to shut the hell up because he says he always has a gaming headset on. And he wants to get a canvas poster for above his setup. So here's the thing, right? 9 to 14 hours a day. God damn. Just make sure you go for a run every so often. Otherwise, you're going to become disabled like me. What?
Or a walk.
Yeah. But seriously, I mean, this is okay. So I like it so much, but then there's so many things that I'm just like, God damn it, Pato or Pato. He said like soft A. I don't know what that means. Pato.
Yeah.
But yeah. So here's the thing: the setup itself is very simple, very meh. There's not like anything that's like, God damn! Like, yeah, he's got a cool monitor, cool peripherals and things like that, but accessories for the controller, have a little spot to put it. That'd be really nice. I like that you put the headphones underneath. Good job. You have a salt lamp that doesn't seem to be too salty because it doesn't really look like it's got like the ever so slightest light going on inside of it. The lamp in the corner looks awful. I throw that out the window and then I jump out the window, land on top of it, and then throw it in a garbage bag and call it a day. The fake plant, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of those. Whatever. The 2-pop vinyls look like they're in very random spots, so a few things there that I'm not a huge fan of. And then of course theme is lacking completely. I almost gave it half a point. No, I'm just kidding. He's got 2-pop vinyls. Cool. But if you look above the setup, there's nothing. So that's why he did say he was going to get it, but we're not going to give you points for something you're probably going to do. We're just grading how it is now. The second photo, though, I'm just like, why is the PC over there? Do you want to trip on it going in? Like,
yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know.
I don't like the spot of it. It makes the cables look worse than they really are. Have it closer to the leg and then feed directly up like you're doing, but having it further away from it looks like you don't know what you're doing. But seriously, you walk into the door, not only are you already going to hit yourself into the little shelving unit that's right there, but you may also stub your toe on your computer. So I don't understand the arrangement there. It doesn't seem right. It seems very tight.
Yeah.
But hey, what are you going to do about it? And then the final picture, I mean, yeah, it's, I don't think this was your issue. I think having the PC in the spot that it's at is the issue, because we're just seeing cables like going all over the place. Interesting setup though. Very bland. Very like I don't know, what are you going for? Blue, red, purple, pink, yellow? I don't know. I'm very confused. But you have any closing thoughts for him?
No, it's white on white. It's not the best, especially if you don't have much color. Yeah, the blue is kind of whitish, so I don't think it really works. Maybe change your LED colors to like red.
Yeah, find out what you're doing. Find a color and go bam. Just bam. Personality. But anyways, guys, it's time for the part of the show where we give the scores, starting with Katherine an 88, Lewis an 80, Cameron a 58, David a 66, Mark an 80, Rhys a 70, Kai 80, Paul 74, Jani 78, and finally Pato with the 76. I'm going to give him a little pat on the back. I think the scores were pretty fair. Honestly, I could have been a lot harsher on different aspects, but I decided not to. So that's going to do it for this episode of Pimp My Setup. I'm going to be back on Sunday, and I will hopefully see you then. If not...
like, what would you be doing on Sunday?
I don't know. I might be mowing the lawn. I might be jumping off a bridge. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you on Sunday.